you shitting me? I gotta call out right now. I should go out. Should just say screw it, I'm going out. We're gonna go to. I'm gonna go to this shot for just right now for just a second. Um. Hmm. Been live for 2 minutes and no one's in receiver. I had a dream. 2 and 2 make 3. Confirm. No, don't call back. No, don't call back. What is happening here? Huh. Not going to Jefferson. All right. Can I do this? I think I can. I'll be right back. forgot how to put on my radio headphones. There they are. We're going to see what we can do here. Let's, I guess, go ahead and get this show on the road. Why don't we? I have no one else to answer to. I've got to stay in this voice.
The man in black fled across the desert, and the gunslinger followed.
You know a lot about drugs.
Oh, I live for drugs. It's great. Just lately, I freaked out on acid. I freaked out very, very badly.
Are you really happy?
I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all, really. I'm very sad. I'm not happy.
This episode of the
Last Kicker
is brought to you by
Geist Note
and
Victor Wrench
and Plastic Object.
This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
The motherfucker did it again. What the fuck? Oh shit. I'm having issues over here. Give me just a second. This new IO is making me crazy. It's making me come out of character. All right, hold on. Let's see here. I think Logic freaked the fuck out. Right? Something freaked the fuck out. Everything's not singing to each other like it should be. Okay, let's see. I'm glad I'm working out all the bugs now. Oh yeah, I got your text, Doug. I meant to tell you about it. I forgot about it. I'm out of character right now, but yeah, I meant to tell you about it. And next week we will be there. We will be there, and you know where the where is. That is there. Let me pull something up here. Got a new IO. It's a Scarlet, and it's giving me a little bit of fit because all these things are like untamed wild beasts. Trying to get shit figured out. It's making a bunch of noise right now, and it keeps crashing on its own. So I'm gonna see what's happening. Looking at the back end here. Everything should be okay. Let me set it down here. I don't know why it does this. Falls out of sync or whatever, but we're gonna try to do this. Oh shit. No. I don't want to quit. Open back up. My bad. And then I'm gonna start the show right back up where it was with the intro and everything. Let's see here. I'm not gonna restart the intro. I'm just gonna play the intro song so I can get. I'm in character tonight. Deal with it. I'm alone. I'm all by myself. This is what we do. This is what I do. Because it's fun. I am shooting it, Doug. I will be shooting it. I will be shooting it. We should all be. Are you in the balcony or are you downstairs? We should all be downstairs. Majority of the tickets are downstairs. That balcony's not that big there. All right, everything looks like it's up. It's synced. It's going. I'm going to hit play right here, somewhere in here, so I can get the fade out. Let's just roll this right here. And now you know. All right, stage right.
I pinch myself, conscience to the moon. A vision felt what equals battle good. I had a dream, 2 and 2 makes 3. Then down the road, how could I break free? Face of the sun, judgment will come. Souls brought down, one by one.
Welcome to show number 495. It is October 18th in the year of 2022. I am the triple fake Paul Harvey, filling in for Dustin and Matt this week. For those that may not be familiar with me, I died in 2009 after having an almost 90-year career in radio. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I began, my first radio show was at KVOO in Tulsa. Don't put that in the chat room. That doesn't help. Eventually, I made it to Chicago and was broadcast with ABC radio networks across the country. I had 1,200 radio stations, 400 armed force network stations, and 300 newspapers that I was a part of. But tonight, I'm filling in for the boys, and you're going to find out what the rest of the story really is. So let's start off with a birthday dedication to one Matt Stubbs, whose birthday is today, and he found that he couldn't be here to celebrate it in the temple, which is totally understandable. I wouldn't be here either if it was my birthday. This is one of the last places I'd be unless there were a bunch of naked women dancing around. Happy birthday to you, Matt Stubbs, and may we hear from you next week. Page 2. Friday night at Lola's was another birthday celebration. This one for one Susie Ramone. La Cure was the band playing on the main stage, and the crowd was absolutely huge. Susie's friends and family had coordinated a special surprise birthday because this was a milestone birthday for her to celebrate. Many friends and family made it in attendance, and we want to thank all of you that were able to make it and be there for her as she celebrated this milestone birthday. One of the interesting things that was at the birthday was the gifts. I don't know. I'm falling apart here already, not even 10 minutes into this broadcast. The party was fun. It was a great night under the stars. As we all sang and danced, some of us drank, some of us didn't because of dietary restrictions. A lot of the local podcasters made it, and they formed a little round table of just talking shit to each other, and it was fun. Happy birthday, Susie. We hope it was a memorable one. Memorable one. Not one you want to think about in past. If you drink from the cup that is half empty. The second quarter, the Eagles ran away with the ball and scored most of their points. In fact, this season, they have scored most of their points in the second quarter, being the only team in NFL history to score majority points in the second and giving up the most points in the third. The Cowboys pulled close in the third, but it was Nick Sirianni's team that took the win. Someone needs to check his drawers to make sure he didn't mess them, because his Eagles finally beat the Cowboys with a backup quarterback. This was his first win over the Cowboys. Ooh, gross. Oh my God, my stomach's freaking out. Since he was head coach, he became head coach of the Eagles. For those that might have seen, Jill Biden was in attendance, as she led the crowd into song and dance of the Eagles' Fly, Eagles, Fly. And reports are being put out that she was promptly booed off the field, while chants of "Let's go Brandon" filled the stadium. Now, reports of that are wrong. They've been fabricated by the right. Watch what you read, people. You never know what's out there. I must pause for a PSA from a local network.
Matt Stubbs, a man who wants to make Watauga better by fixing the potholes, by putting shit in a bag and putting it in the pothole to make Watauga safe for your children. Vote Matt Stubbs. This message paid for by the friends of Matt Stubbs.
Page 3. An East Chicago elementary teacher has been charged with maintaining a kill list of students and staff. Angelica Corsquello, 25, told one of her students while in class on Monday of last week that she was on the bottom of a kill list and had a kill list of both students and staff that she was threatening to kill. 2 fifth grade students went to their counselor on Wednesday afternoon and reported that the teacher had made comments to them about killing herself, her students, and staff. When the principal pulled the teacher aside, she told school officials, "I do want to kill myself, staff, and students, and I did also make a kill list." She was promptly arrested and taken to a state mental hospital. She is being charged with intimidation and was being held on a $20,000 bond. Page 3, 4, 5. Let's go page 4. Page 4. The White House is pushing ahead to do research on how to cool the earth which includes reflecting sunlight back towards itself. The White House Office of Science and Technology Policy is coordinating a 5-year research plan to study ways of modifying the amount of sunlight that reaches the Earth in order to temporarily temper the effects of global warming. Now, there are several types of technology being considered behind this, including stratospheric aerosol injection and marine cloud brightening and cirrus cloud thinning. Those that aren't aware or don't follow the threads of conspiracies when it comes to chemtrails or contrails coming from airplanes, stratospheric aerosol injection involves spraying an aerosol like sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere. And because it has the potential to affect the entire globe, it's what almost always causes conspiracy theorists to wet their pants. The White House will continue this research using your tax dollars to figure out how to make the sun see itself in a mirror. Do you worry about the loss of audio signal in your day-to-day work? Do you have a studio, or are you a musician that has cables running all over their practice facilities or all over the stage when they play live? Then let me recommend to you Geist Note cables. Geist Note cables are the ones that are far more superior than your average Guitar Center cables. Made with love and ingenuity or something, who knows? Geist Note cables are the ones for you. Pick up Geist Note cables at geistnote.com and you'll never sound like shit again. That is, unless you don't have talent. Page 5. A naked woman chases Jehovah's Witnesses off of her porch. We've all been approached by Jehovah's Witnesses from time to time. They've come to the door offering to save your soul and deliver it into a paradise earth. Well, these two young men got a little more than they bargained for. Luke and John are used to people being rude to them, slamming doors, and even yelling at them. But for a naked woman to greet them at the door, that was quite the shock. Their message was not going to be heard at this house, and it was time to move on. The men returned to their bikes, but it turns out that Brandy wasn't yet done trying to get under their skin. A nude Brandy began speaking of her vagina as the devil's magic it contained. "Take a good look at my pussy," she yelled. "Succumb to my devil vagina magic." This got the attention of the pair of men, and they began to fear what may happen next as they began to pedal away. Brandy chased them down the street, but didn't make it too far. His neighbors had already informed police of an altercation involving the neighbor and the two young men. She was apprehended without incident, and after having their statements taken, the men were free to spread the word of God. And all that Brandy had to say was that her pussy had devil vagina magic. Now a word from my ABC partner, Casey Kasem.
Now, we're up to our long-distance dedication. And this one is about kids and pets and a situation that we can all understand, whether we have kids or pets or neither. It's from a man in Cincinnati, Ohio. And here's what he writes. Dear Casey, this may seem to be a strange dedication request, but I'm quite sincere, and it'll mean a lot if you play it. Recently, there was a death in our family. He was a little dog named Snuggles, but he was most certainly a part of... Let's start again. From coming out of the record. Play the record, okay? Please. See, when you come out of those up-tempo goddamn numbers, man, it's impossible to make those transitions, and then you got to go into somebody dying. You know, they do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for, but goddamn it, if we can't come out of a slow record, I don't understand it. Is Don on the phone? Okay, I want a goddamn concerted effort to come out of a record that isn't a fucking up-tempo record every time I do a goddamn death dedication.
Whoa, Casey.
Now, make it, and I also want to know what happened to the pictures I was supposed to see this week. This is last goddamn time. I want somebody to use his fucking brain to not come out of a goddamn record that is, that's up-tempo, and I gotta talk about a fucking dog dying. Boy, this is fucking ponderous, man.
It's fucking
Ponderous, fucking ponderous.
Oh, yeah, non-stop music.
We're sorry about that cursing. That was Casey on a bad day. Page 6. Do you or a loved one take Adderall? Well, it appears there is a widespread shortage of Adderall across the country, probably because our president takes way too much of it, or our ex-president. Maybe they all do. Who knows? The largest Adderall manufacturer in the U.S., Teva Pharmaceuticals Industries, has said last month that labor shortages from earlier in the year disrupted production. A Teva spokesperson has said at the time that the company expects the shortages at the retail level to be resolved in coming weeks. I am slowly losing my Paul Harvey voice, and it's turning into something I wasn't planning on it to. But pharmacies are now reporting shortages of ADHD treatment from an array of other drug makers. The American Society of Health System Pharmacists has reported shortages of several versions of the amphetamine from numerous manufacturers this week, as results sprout up nationwide of the impact that low supplies are having on patients who are unable to fill prescriptions. It's frightening, people, Dr. Robert Shulin said. It frightens parents who have kids who are starting school right now. It frightens adults who are reliant on the medicine to get them through the workday. Where the fuck is this voice going? Patients can't get medicines. And we get a lot of phone calls, and it's a lot of extra work. And the patients have to call around to pharmacies to look and see where their supply is. It's not scary. It's not scary at all. What people don't understand is Adderall is not something you have to get you have to have in your bloodstream. Not at all. You can come in and out of it. You can quit it cold, you can fire it back up. Now, it may make you lazy for a day or make you feel kind of sluggish for a day, but it's not like these freaking, what do you call them? Antidepressants that people take, where you have to figure out the right chemistry, and then figure out what to do with it. Is this pill right? Is that pill right? Is this amount right? Whatever. and then go on about your life. And then it's got to be in your system for like a month before it finally starts taking hold and actually working. And then it takes a month for it to get out of your system. Anyway, I had one more story that I was going to do in Paul Harvey voice, and then I had no fucking clue what I was going to do after that. So this story blows my mind, and I'm just going to do it in regular voice. We're going to call this page 7, page 8, page 9, something down here. This is the story of Terry Thompson. And this is the actual anniversary of 10 years ago of Terry Thompson. Terry Thompson was a guy that lived out in outside of Columbus, Ohio, in God, what's the name of that stupid town? It starts with a Z. Zanesville, Ohio, and he had a farm in which he had a ton of exotic animals. He had 18 Bengal tigers, bears, a ton of horses, a bunch of lions, monkeys, leopards, everything. He had a huge massive exotic ranch. And on this day, 10 years ago, Terry got up, and he had been constantly plagued by letters from, or altercations he had with local authorities about the way the animals were being contained, about how he was taking care of them. Some of them looked like they were mistreated. PETA was constantly sending him stuff, and then different wildlife organizations were constantly sending him stuff attacking him. And the farm that many people had gone to and visited these animals over the years was starting to fall into neglect. Terry had recently separated from his wife. He was upset about that. And the way the city and everyone was coming down on him, he decided that he would just go out and release all the animals into the wild. Well, the wild of Zanesville, Ohio, like I said, is just outside of Columbus, Ohio, or a little ways outside of Columbus, Ohio. It's a pretty populated area. And in fact, when he decided he was going to let all these animals out, just a couple of miles down the road was a soccer game, a little league soccer game being played that included a bunch of the townsfolk, and a majority of the kids there played in this little league soccer. So Terry opened up all the cages, let them go, and the animals went wild. And they proceeded to make their way all over town. And fortunately, no one was hurt from this. The bad side of it is 48 of the 50 animals that were released were hunted down and killed by the local law enforcement. That included the 18 Bengal tigers. There were 17 lions. There were a few, like 5 or 6 grizzly bears. Luckily, there were 2 leopards that were killed. There were 3 others that were saved that weren't let go. The bad thing is that when Terry decided to let all these guys go and make their way around the town, he decided that he would take his own life, and he shot himself in the head. And the reports are saying that after he shot himself in the head, it looks like one of the big cats came over and grabbed him by the head and drug him around for a little bit until they let him go. But it's a crazy ass story. You always wonder about stuff like this. Like, what if someone was at the Fort Worth Zoo and just was like, yeah, I've had enough. I'm done. I'm just going to let all these animals go. Be free, be free. They pull a whole Jason Mewes in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back when they go to rescue the orangutan. Or it was a chimpanzee, wasn't it? It was a chimpanzee named Suzanne. That's all that they wanted in the world. But yeah, pretty wild story. Pretty stinking wild story. And I thought it was just fitting that the anniversary of it fell on today. Now I'm out of stories, and this was where Paul Harvey was really going to end, and then I was just going to ride off into the sunset and release my dogs into the street before I wasn't going to take my own life, but for maybe just like I would release them into the wild and then take a shot of whiskey, and they'd be like, "Yeah, all right." Do have an email here, and I meant to do this in Paul Harvey voice, but oh well. We'll call this page 7. Got an email from a C. Wallace. C. Wallace has been sending this email. We've been arguing about this all day around the shop. This morning I asked the guys what their favorite band is. The choices were Hendrix, The Clash, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and Deep Purple. Out of those choices, you had to pick out who was the best. Anyway, it's turned into a heated argument around here, so I want you guys to settle this once and for all. I'm going with the obvious Black Sabbath, because that's what it's got to be, right? Let me know what you guys think. C. Wallace. Well, Mr. Wallace, this looks like a form email, so thanks for sending us a form email. I'm going to have to go with, it's either going to be, I mean, Led Zeppelin stole all their music, right? I mean, it's kind of well known that Led Zeppelin stole all their music from the black man, the old black blues player. And so we can't really give it to them. The Clash, I never was a huge fan. AC/DC is great. I mean, they simplified the 3-chord song. Hendrix is phenomenal. But I mean, let's be honest, besides a handful of, let's be 100% real here. Besides a handful of songs that we all know that are great and playing the Star Spangled Banner, I mean, Hendrix, if he would have lived longer, maybe, if he wouldn't have joined the 27 club or the 27 club, maybe, I don't know. I'm going to go, and Deep Purple's kind of influential in metal for being one of the first bands out of the wasn't it the new wave of British heavy metal in the 60s and 70s as it came over to the States. This is not the greatest band of all time, Susie, in the chat room. This is just what their favorite was out of these. So I'm going to go with Sabbath also. Black Sabbath was probably the most influential out of all these, and probably as far as it comes, if we're talking about heavy music, when we used to do our little history of metal show, everything seemed to come back to what Sabbath did and how heavy Sabbath made things and kind of reinvented the wheel of heavy music. So I'm rolling with them. I'm going to go with Sabbath. But that's not the greatest band of all time. There's no way. I mean, how do you even do that? What do you base that on? Pop sensibility? Funky rhythms? Polymetric beats? I mean, how do you even come to the greatest band of all time? It's like these lists Rolling Stone and Spin put out of the greatest songs of all time. And they put in those weird number 1s and number 2s, and I don't know. I don't know how you even come about to figure out what the greatest song of all time is, because it's all opinionated still, right? Come on, agree with me. I think it'd be measured with a ruler, or maybe they check for girth. Maybe that's how you measure what the greatest band will ever be. It's the girth. It's their girth. It's how girthy can they be. So I was going to come in here as Paul Harvey. My original plan was to come in here as Alex Jones, but I think I would have blown my voice out. And this week, Alex Jones, you know, kind of got thrown under the bus with a $1 billion he has to pay back to the people that were. Hold on, I'm shooting. I just got derailed. $1 billion freaking dollars he has to pay back to all the Sandy Hook families that he went and talked a bunch of shit for. It's 965 million. But I cannot, how do you even do that? And is he going to lose his entire empire he's built? I mean, don't get me wrong. Alex Jones is a nut job. He's kind of fucking funny. I mean, the shit he comes up with is pretty wild. And some of the stuff he's thrown out there has stuck and become true. But I guess if you throw a bunch of shit at the wall, some of it is going to stick, right? I mean, that's the way that works. And he did bring us the awesome documentary of what happens in Bohemian Grove. Can't fault him for that. He snuck in like a freaking Navy SEAL. Like he was going in there to take out a bridge in the Viet Cong. And he got us that footage from Bohemian Grove, to where all the elites, including the Clintons, were bowing down and giving worship and penance to a giant owl effigy. It's kind of awesome. I mean, right? I mean, you hear all these stories and now you see that it's true. But 965 million. I don't think any of us have that in our wallets these days, and I don't know how he's going to pay that back, and I don't know if he'll ever be on the air again. Or I guess he's still on the air doing his stuff, but can the courts just come in and go like, well, your studio's mine, your microphones are mine, we can get like $5 for these at the pawn shop. And they just gradually dwindle it all down. 965 million is crazy. And will the families even ever see any of that? And what did the lawyers get off of that? That's what I want to know. What was their percentage? Man, those lawyers, I mean, just close the firm down. You're done. You just made a mint off of that if you actually ever see the money. I don't know how that works. Like, does it... like, these huge settlements like this, how does that fucking work? Is there someone that, like a bank has to pay that out and then you have to pay back the bank? Or, like, seriously, how does that work? I understand how small settlements work, but I have no idea over something that's, you know, over $100,000. Like, what do you do? How do you make sure you get that? It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm not going to say poor Alex Jones. He deserves it. He did talk a bunch of shit. You know, it does bring up the question of what you can say free speech wise, you know, if you're saying stuff on your show, but he went over those lines. He went and harassed these families and chased them down and got all in their face in the Alex Jones way. I don't know. He's a cretin. He is a cretin. Saturday Night Live. I've been a fan of it for years. And I haven't watched it any this season with this new cast, but I'll go in, watch it every once in a while, grab some. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. It's still a staple. It's one of those things, like, you know, I guess comedians look at it, and where does Saturday Night Live live? In the 90s, it was amazing. You went in there and you watched it every weekend to see who was hosting, and what musician was going to be there, and what songs were they going to play, and it was always great. Some of the best performances I've ever seen, were on Saturday Night Live. You got some badass Beastie Boys performances, Pearl Jam. Who else rolled through there? I think Rage Against the Machine did it. Oh yeah, they did. But anyway, there's this list that's out of bands that were banned from Saturday Night Live. They can never play it again. I was going to run through that because, as we know, people love lists. Everybody loves a list. So, starting at the top, Cypress Hill banned. Why? Because they lit up a joint the last time they played there. And what's crazy is the last time they played there was 1993, and they played I Ain't Going Out Like That. Pretty genius. Just lit up a joint on stage, and I guess, can that ban you from Saturday Night Live now? You can smoke in New York City, right? System of a Down just kept dropping F-bombs during the entire thing. Especially while they played BYOB. They had agreed to the 5-second delay, but as you know, delay runs out, or maybe you don't know. In radio and TV, delay will run out, and you'll catch up to everything in live time, and you have to let it build back up. Well, if you're dropping a bunch of F-bombs, you run out of delay, and soon those get broadcasted. So they're not invited back. Of course, Sinead O'Connor, we know about that. She tore up a picture of the Pope, which I thought was hilarious. A lot of people thought she was sexy then, too. Never got it. That was 1992. See, all these are during the peak of when SNL was badass in the 90s. Fear, they played, and they brought in a bunch of extra band members that were slam dancers, and they started running around the stage and slamming into each other. Then they started slamming into the crowd that was sitting out, and had a pit break out, and supposedly they caused thousands of dollars of damage to the set of Saturday Night Live. Meh, did they? I don't know. Rage Against the Machine, RoboTuner said something about this, and it wasn't just that the flag was hung upside down, because that's something Tim Comerfield had always, if you'd ever seen them in the 90s, they had hung a upside down American flags on their amps. But it was the shredding during their second song that they started shredding and tearing up an American flag. And then they threw it. Supposedly, Forbes had a bunch of people there sitting in the audience, and he threw the flag into all the people that worked at Forbes, all the higher ups and elites at Forbes. Elvis Costello? Like, really? Like, the most bubblegum bullshit, whatever. But he ended up, when you do, like Saturday Night Live, from my knowledge, is you do a bunch of rehearsals leading up to the show. The musician comes in about midweek and does rehearsals with everybody. And they go through the two songs they're going to play. And it's going to be those two songs, and they're given what, they can and can't do during those songs, and everything's kind of run through of how it's going to go. And Elvis Costello decided at the last minute to play a different song. And it's kind of a weird thing, because there are when you're a band, you do live televised performances, you get paid for it. And when all the paperwork is sent through saying you're going to play these two songs, and these are the two songs that you're going to get paid for, and you end up playing something else that you hadn't agreed upon, it causes all sorts of chaos. And it pissed Lorne Michaels off. And it just so happened that the song was against NBC and the evils of what commercial broadcasting is. The Replacements can't play there because they were too drunk. Really? I mean, the Replacements can't play there because they were too drunk. But yet you can have Ashley Simpson. Was it Ashley? Yeah. Just kind of do the Cotton Eye Joe across the stage as she was busted lip singing. I mean, come on. And Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa can never, which I don't think we have to worry about that anymore, right? Frank Zappa's gone, but he was permanently banned. He was supposed to be the host and musical guest for an episode in '78, but he sucked and was a giant a-hole, and they replaced him, or they kicked him off the show. He totally just would not work with the guest or cast, so they banned him. Told him get the hell out of here. So that's the list of Saturday Night Live bands. There's another list of bands that are banned by Disney. 15 metal bands that are banned by Disney. This should be interesting. Cannibal Corpse, duh. You know, when you have a song called Fucked with a Knife and Dead Human Collection and I Come Blood, of course Disney's not going to do anything with you. Exodus, come on, we knew that. Oh, the Dillinger Escape Plan are banned by Disney? Oh, man. Oh, because they got pissed at the Disneyland House of Blues and yelled, fuck Disney and fuck the Disneyland House of Blues. Okay, that's neat. Machine Head. Why would they want to do anything with Disney? Gallows. Every Time I Die. Cattle Decapitation, of course. Come on, they're too brutal. The Faceless, I don't even know who the fuck that is, but I'm going to go listen to them. The little quote under here says, Meshuggah, who I saw this week, I want to get in that. They're allowed to play there, but the Faceless, you're not on the list. The Faceless can't play, but Meshuggah can play Disney facilities. Warbringer, Thy Art is Murder. I'm sure if you have murder or death or, corpse fucking in your name, you're not going to be allowed to play a Disney facility, right? The House of Blues at Disneyland or Disney World. Skeleton Witch is greatness. They're freaking awesome. Why? Because they're skeletons and witches? Don't you have both in the Haunted Mansion? Come on, this doesn't make sense. Stupid. Let Live, Ex Mortis, Ice Nine Kills. Now, Ice Nine Kills was in town a few weeks ago. They opened for Slipknot. And I didn't go, but I had a friend that went, fellow photographer that went, and said that their entire live show is based off of a murder. And tearing up a human corpse, and it's just super, super, super violent, and all their imagery is over the top. So I can see why Ice Nine Kills can't make it to Disney. It'd be cool if they killed Snow White in their live show. I'd be down for that. I'd totally watch that. That'd be great. Hyro the Hero. I have no idea who this is. Their band playing the House of Blues in Orlando, and they have no idea why. Well, that was fun. That was neat. Those were 2 lists you get. 2 lists. I want to talk about, Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Last Tuesday? No, we did a show. I did the show with Susie last Tuesday. We went through a Fort Worth Weekly Music Awards, and I've gotten a lot of flack for that. Good. I mean, it's good flack. There's a lot of people pissed off about these music awards, but you can go vote. go to fortworthweekly.com. You'll see a banner that says Vote Music Awards. You can vote on there all you want. You may want to look at a bass player category and, throw some love to your boy. Which camera do I look like? This one. I'm in there. There's some good bands in there. I just wish the categories were more correct. If you go listen to our buddy Jeffrey Lord this week, he did a whole mock show of the awards ceremony, in which he did the Lordies. And I'm halfway through the episode. I was trying to finish it before the show, but today's been a rough day for me. I'm going to be honest. It's been a rough, hard day, and I took a nap to contemplate getting over depression and letting animals run freely through my neighborhood, and then taking a shot of whiskey. So, yeah, go listen to the Funky Town podcast. Listen to his award, to Jeffrey Lord's awards, and then go over to the Fort Worth Weekly and check out that ballot. Throw some awards there. You got multiple email addresses? Use them. You can. Why not? You know a way to use Russian bots? Let me know. Because we're still trying to figure that whole thing out. Yes, RoboTuner, the Lord did his Lordies Awards. Now we should do the Danzigs. That's something Matt and I have talked about for a long time. We have put pen to paper. We're working something out. We'll get back to you on that. Maybe before show 500, which is in 5 weeks, if we make it to show 500. So yeah, Wednesday night, went and saw a couple of little Swedish bands, and one band, I guess technically they're from Florida, although they're all spread out across the country now. But I went and saw Torch, the great Torch. So good. If you like, stoner doom metal, Torch, man, so fucking good. That still has a little bit of a pop appeal, that makes you feel good. You need to go see some Torch. Torch is fantastic. Or listen to some Torch. You'll never be able to see them again because this was their last tour. Sorry. Like I said, they live across the country. Steve wasn't really feeling, it was difficult for him to work with the band since they're all spread out, and wasn't really, was just kind of tired of going all over the place. So, since he's the lead front guy, lead guitarist, and he just kind of wanted to step away, and the rest of the band said, well, we're not going to go on without you, so we're going to step away, which is the right way to do things. But yeah, Torch is amazing. A great, great, great band. But the other bands on the bill, one of them I hadn't seen in probably about 6 years. And I was happy they were on the bill, but the band they replaced was who, it's difficult. It's like trying to choose which child you're going to save. Are you going to save this one or are you going to save that one? On this Meshuggah tour, for half of it, Converge was opening, or taking the middle slot. And then a few shows before they got to Dallas, they swapped out and had In Flames join them. I love both bands. I really, really, really do. Like, they're both like right there, in my wheelhouse. But In Flames is so goddamn good. So crazy. I hadn't seen them since our buddy Chris Broderick joined them, formerly of Megadeth. He became a buddy of ours at NAMM when we kept ending up at all the same places and looking at all the same things. And then we showed up at the same venues together. And it was just funny because the conversation came up of who's stalking who. And it was kind of funny seeing him come out. I was like, holy shit, I know Chris was with In Flames. It's badass. Really, really cool. So, yeah, Chris Broderick is playing with them, and it's just precision, clean metal from Sweden that you could play to your mom. I mean, it's heavy, and there's some growling, there's some yelling. And that kind of happens when you're singing in English with a Swedish accent. But it's so good and so freaking just perfectly spot on every time they play. I mean, everything sounded so fucking good. And then Meshuggah came out, and that is I equivalent seeing Meshuggah live. I've seen them live before, and it was the exact same thing this time around. Take a machine gun, point it right at your chest, and just unload it. That's exactly what it feels like. I've never had that done. I'm sitting here, of course, but you just get pummeled. And it's not just the polyrhythms that are just firing at you in off counts, which is Meshuggah's trademark. It's the light show that went along with it. When I've seen them before, they've opened for other bands, so they didn't have this giant production with them. In this production, everything was synced and triggered perfectly with the music, and it hurt. And as a live music photographer, this was one of, if not the hardest show I've ever shot, ever. It was insane, but worth it. They're so fucking good, and to see those guys pull off what they do and be so talented, and they've influenced so many modern metal bands throughout the years, and they just completely created and defined an entire genre of metal on their own with their complex playing and rhythm patterns. And then you throw in 8-string guitars and 7-string basses and crazy shit like that, and it just pushes it over the top. They were phenomenal. Front to back, this set or this lineup was a show I was really, really excited about seeing. Glad I got to see it, and glad I got to see Torch one last time before they said goodbye, and in a big venue. Deep Ellum's shit. I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple places down there that I like. Three Links is one of them. Trees is good. Those two spots are about the only places I frequent. I could care less about everything else down there right now. Everything's a pain in the ass to get to play, to park. It's a complete pain in the ass. But I went down to, got down there early. Well, not super early. I walked in the door right as Torch went on stage. But I got down there early enough to where I could park in the parking garage. If you haven't been down there in forever, during pandemic, they built where the old Bomb Factory parking lot used to be, right behind it. They built a parking garage with apartments on top of it. And I got there early enough to get a spot in that parking garage and just ride the elevator down to the street, walk around to the Bomb Factory, you're in, or the factory. Let me not piss anybody off. We got to be woke here with the Bomb Factory. We have to call it the factory now. Whatever. But yeah, the factory is probably my favorite mid-size venue in Dallas. It's better than Southside Ballroom by far. Sounds better no matter where you're at. Feels better. Like just the way everything is laid out feels better. Southside Ballroom's weird. I mean, you've got these different mixed levels. You've got ways into the floor in weird spots. You've got, weird angles and shit and all sorts. The bathrooms area sucks. But the factory, man, the way I always forget how beautiful and how good of a venue that is. House of Blues might be second, maybe. I don't know when you think of mid-sized venues. I still haven't been over to the Echo. Need to make a run over there. cover a show over there. But for my money, I'm going to say the Factory is the best mid-level venue in Dallas. Can't think of any more right now. If there's any more in the chat room, let me know. So, I guess, what time is it here? 9:06. How much have I recorded? Not even an hour yet. Wow, that's weird. That's crazy. The only other stuff I got to hit on is on Thursday night is a meteor shower. It's a big meteor shower. It's one of the biggest of the years, and we should be able to, even here in the city, you should be able to go out between the hours of 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. That's the peak of the shower, and see a bunch of meteors with the naked eye. You probably, like the next few mornings or maybe early evenings, hell, maybe all night. But I would say more towards the early morning hours, you'll probably see some meteors. Like if you drive into work when it's still dark. I know one of our guys saw one this morning. We actually saw one last week too. A few of us saw it. Pretty big, bright green as it blew across the horizon. It felt like it was, just landed up by the racetrack or something. Like it felt really, really close when we saw it come down. But this is a big meteor shower this week. I can't remember the name of it. I've gone completely blank when it's come. I was going to look it up real quick. I've got a whole thing that talks about what's coming up this week, but I can't remember what it is. I can't remember this meteor shower. But anyway, it's a big ordeal. Is this the Ornids? It is the Ornids. Okay, so it's the Ornids. And it's a pretty big one. Not the biggest. I think the biggest is next month or the 1st of December. Usually the biggest one of the year is the Perseids, right? I get them all mixed up. But anyway, it's going to be huge. Go out, look up, check it out. You should be able to see some. They say that at times it could be up to 75 an hour. Now in the city, you're probably not going to see that. But if you go out in the country, which I'm going to do, I'm going to go camping on Thursday night and Friday night and shoot the sky and see what I can come up with. Hopefully something decent. Going camping with a new group of people that I've never camped with before. That kind of makes things a little, nervous. You don't know, camping with people is a big trust thing. You never know what could happen out in the woods. Like, what if Jason comes from the bottom of a lake and you've all got to help each other defend yourself? I don't know what kind of survival skills these guys have. We've never camped before. So I don't know if they would survive an attack from a Jason type character. These are factors that go through your head. You've got to understand, what if we're out there and a farmer has an exotic farm and decides to let loose a bunch of animals while we're out there? How are we going to survive? Are these guys I'm camping with, are they good at survival tactics? We've got to figure that out. I mean, can we make a fire? Can we make a toilet? If need be, what if a blizzard comes in? Can we make a shelter? Have any of them ever watched Alone? That's the big question. Have you watched Alone? Can you survive in that situation? So that's what we got to know. If a giant Bengal tiger comes rolling through camp, do we freeze? Do we lay down? Do we stand up and yell at it? No, you don't do that. You don't do that at all. These are survival tactics you got to know. But then what if you get hungry? Do you know how to noodle a catfish out of a hole? I don't know. I just don't know. These are things you need to know when you just go camping. If I get hungry and I want some catfish, can you noodle one out of a hole for me? I can noodle something else out of a hole, but it ain't a catfish. Zing. This week, the lead up to the Ornids. Solar system action will culminate between October 14th and the 21st. So, yeah, you're already being able to see some stuff. But the peak night is going to be this Thursday. It's when we pass through the comet tail and the most meteors will fall through the Earth. The reason they're called the Ornids is because if you look towards the Orion constellation, that's where they fall from. If you can get somewhere where there's little to no light noise, light pollution, you should be able to see quite a bit. I don't see a number here right now. Yeah, I don't see it. But it goes through Friday, like Friday morning. The cool thing is the moon rises pretty late in the night. So on Thursday night, of course, as this is happening at 2 a.m., the moon will rise at 2 a.m. But it's going to be a waning crescent moon, 23%. And on Friday, it'll rise at 3:03 a.m. and it will be at 15%. So go out Thursday, go out Friday night. Friday night, you don't have anything to do, and you have nothing going on Saturday. Drive out the middle of nowhere, lay down, look at the sky. I can tell you where to go. One of the best places to go is right out west. You can go to, it's not open anymore, is it? Well, fuck me, because last time I went out there, there was a gate. But I was going to say the Palo Pinto Mountain State Park that they're currently building has a nice place where you can kick back by the hills and look up, and there's no light pollution out there. A little bit from Abilene, but it's like an hour and a half to get out there. If you want another place to go to, Meridian State Park. It's pretty dark down there. Cransfield's Gap. There's a place down there you can go. There's a church down there that I've shot quite a bit. That's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. But it's worth it. You get to lay down and see some stars falling from the sky. It's amazing. It's good times. And then I'm going to come home Saturday to get ready for the Cowboy game, as the Cowboys have Detroit Lions in town. We're going to get Dak back, which, I mean, that doesn't really matter to me, but Dak will be back playing, and hopefully this will be a win, right? Right, guys? Right? We'll go 5-2? Is that right? Something like that? I don't know. I haven't looked at this chart lately either to see who's in the lead. But I guess I should do that real quick. While y'all are... I had Philly as a win. Oh, shit. I fucked that one up. Andrew and Matt had it as a loss. That's good. I have this week as a win. So hopefully it'll be a win, right? I don't know. We'll see. But that's pretty much all I got. Next week, I know there's a few people in the chat room asking about this, and I'm actually getting text messages right now about it. Yes, Pussifer is next week. It is next Wednesday night at the auditorium at Will Rogers Memorial Auditorium at the Convention Center downtown, or on the outside of downtown, where Amplified 817 was. it's going to be very interesting seeing Pussifer in a venue like that, especially that small. It's going to be a good time, I think. A real, real good time. I hope it's a little bit. I hope they're still playing off of the tour we saw a few months ago at SMU. The visuals in that show were crazy. I do know someone that has tickets for sale if anybody's looking for them. Close to face value, like really, really close to face value. If anybody wants to go, you can still find some tickets out there at face value, pretty much. It's well worth it. It's a night of fun. Like Stubbs and I said when that show happened, it's like going to see a play. So it's totally worth the price of admission. And even if you don't really know or understand their music or really get it, it's still really, really, really worth seeing. It's an amazing show. So that's next Wednesday. Next Tuesday, we're supposed to have the Methinks in here because the following Saturday, the 29th, is the show at Lola's. Methinks release show, album release with some other bands. I mean, whatever. I mean, do we really care? We're here for the Methinks, right? The Methinks are Fort Worth treasure. They're Fort Worth greatness. And I mean, there's a band called The Spectacle playing with them too, but those guys are spare. But yes, the Methinks show's next week, and if you haven't seen it on social media, on Facebook, whatever, the first 100 people that show up at the show get a free Methinks cape. That's pretty amazing. The Methinks always do crazy bits at their shows. If you've never been to one of their release shows, you got to come to this one. They're so much fun. They get really chaotic, and it's at the new Lola's outside, and hopefully it'll be cold like this. And it's Halloween weekend, so you can wear a costume. We're going to be costumed up. It's going to be shocking, but we're going to be in a cool costume. So come out and be a part of it. And other than that, that's what's been going on. That's what will be going on. And I think, let's see, what else do I have? The only other thing I have right now, chat room, did I miss anything? Let me double check with you guys. We got anything in there? We got to name our chat room. It's a good name for it. The Hussy House. That's what I wanted to call it. I thought that was funny. The Hussy House. Yep, I guess that's it. So let me play this right here, and I'll see you next week. And let's pray for Stubbs to be back. If you've got his number, send him some words of encouragement. Help lift his spirits on this day. And he's going through stuff. He needs your help. So just shoot him a text message or an email, or maybe some thoughts on the socials. Hit him up on his wall. Be like, we miss you, we love you, and we hope you make it through this, buddy. So anyway, he'll be back next week, and I guess all I can do now is do this. Motherfucker, it didn't come through the laptop. Oh my God. I'm going to have to do it in post. All right, we're out of here. Bye. That's it. That's all I'm doing tonight. I'm wore out. I'm tired. I'm mentally not here. Thank you to everyone in the chat room that tuned in. I appreciate it. It's been a rough one today, if I'm to be perfectly honest. And nothing I'll probably ever be able to talk about either, but it's been wild, and I'm glad you guys were here, and I'm sorry I fell out of character midway through it and didn't carry on the Paul Harvey. Two thoughts, one prayer. That's right. Two thoughts, one prayer. I like that. I need to keep that in mind too. There's something else I was supposed to remember, and I don't remember what it was. Fuck. Anyway, I'm gonna have to punch this in. I don't know why that didn't work. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Because I unplugged the laptop because it was being loud. So I'm going to plug it in right here. Let's see. You can see me do editing on the fly. Let's see. So anyway, let's see. I do this. Hit him up on his wall. Be like, we miss you. We love you. And we hope you make it through this, buddy. So anyway, he'll be back next week. And I guess all I can do now is do this.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Motherfucker. There it is, right there. Bam. I'll let it show out, so that's just the last thing you hear. And we're good. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Peace. Love you guys. And we'll see you next week. Later.